For a property perv to unpack all the biggest deals, the market movements, plus their valuable insights on what's to come. I'm joined by real estate land specialist LAWD, Senior Directors Danny Thomas and Tim McKinnon. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for having us.
Danny, you've just gotten back from New York where you're at the Global Ag Investing Conference. Can we expect that you come back with your black book bulging with contacts, with cash to splash?
There's plenty of cash. It's a fascinating thing, Andrea. Globally, Australia is seen as a place where all of these guys want to be invested. They think it's a safe place, good place to do business. They can do transactions here at scale, and I think that sort of goes to where the market is as well at the moment. You know, above $50 million, the market's been quite resilient, even though we've had that little stutter step with beef prices and a correction probably at the lower end of the market. And so, yeah, I'd estimate that there's probably 10 or $11 billion worth of fresh capital that would like to come to Australia over the next 3 or 4 years to invest in agriculture.
Wow, that's huge.
Massive. Yeah.
Now, who has the biggest appetite and the deepest pockets?
I think the Canadians are sort of leading the way. Yeah, they really like Australia and the way their pension system works with long-term liabilities. They invest for the long term. So the guys leading the pack there would be Public Sector Pension Investment Board. We're in partnership with Hewitt's. And then they've got another 6 or 7 platforms that they invest across as well. And then there's a series of other Canadian groups that are really sort of following their lead. There'd be 6 or 7 of them altogether. There's a whole lot of fund of funds out of the United States, a couple of direct investing pensions out of there. More recently, seeing a fair bit of money coming out of Europe, and a resurgence and a renewed interest in people wanting to invest out of the Middle East and China.
Is beef the top of their list, or are they looking for all sorts, poultry?
Yeah, all sorts. It sort of depends on what their investment mandate has been historically, where they've been from. So you see a lot of the North American funds really like things like almonds. They like horticulture because that's been the happy place, row crop, cotton. But more and more we are seeing people with what they think is going to be a macro deficit of protein, you know, in the future as population continues to grow, wanting some exposure to beef, and also wanting some exposure to natural capital, where beef is complementary to investments in carbon or nature repair and those sorts of things. So we are seeing a lot of money coming for beef country.
Tim, Danny's spoken a bit about some of the factors at the market at the moment, but what do you think's boding well?
I think the season has been a big change. In 2023, we saw in the beef market, or the grazing market, not a lot of bigger transactions. Danny touched on there was some big ones, and it's easy to sell over that sort of 50 million, but 2022 there was a lot of activity. We had that big beef or record prices. We saw that come back last year, and then the prediction of a dry summer that really impacted people's confidence. But I think that's changed now after a really good wet season. We've had record rain right through Queensland, Northern Territory, and I think that's everyone's got some confidence back, and we're starting to see some transactions now.
Well, fellas, give me a hit list. What have been some of your biggest sales in the last year?
That large one that we did over in WA, Tim's probably a good one.
Yeah, Kimberley aggregation in...
Is that 300?
300 plus mil, yeah. That was about a 90,000 adult equivalents carrying capacity. So that was, it was a record price for over there, and one of those investment groups, it was AIMCO out of Canada that purchased that.
Penmara Station NT did well as well.
It was good, yeah, bought for carbon. So it's interesting, as you're seeing, particularly before 30 June last year, when you could still do human-induced regeneration projects, we saw a wave of money come into that whole sort of Savannah Way in Northern Australia, scooping up as many properties as they could for carbon projects. Yeah.
Now here's the question, who's selling out of ag at the moment?
I call it birth, deaths and marriages, which is probably a bit crude, Andrea. So there are
accurate
people,
though, perhaps. I don't imagine it's the crudest thing you've said, Danny.
You know me so well. It's a function of the fact that we're all humans and we're all here for a defined period of time. If families don't have a clear succession plan, somebody else that wants to take it on, and they come to the end of their journey of stewardship of that property and they're in their 60s, 70s or 80s, or unfortunately they're ill, or if they've had a divorce, those things tend to be things that bring properties to market. And so it's not always planned, it's not always what the family intended to do, but you do see that there are a lot of these families that are coming to the end of their stewardship journey of those assets. And the wonderful thing about having that institutional money there, and even some of the larger corporate families, Tim, is that there are buyers to take those really large businesses out now.
Tim, outlook for the next 12 months?
I think we're probably going to see it a plateau, not a rapid rise, but I think, in some areas last year we did see a bit of a pullback. I don't think I think we've bounced through that now, and I think it's probably going to be a plateau or just a slight increase, probably in some of those stronger areas.
Danny?
No, I'm not with him. I think it's going to rebound strongly, Andrea. Yeah, we have a divergence of views, which is very healthy.
Well, I know who I'll be going to sell some land. Good on you guys. Thank you so much for coming on Beef TV.
Thank you very much.
Well, we are off to a break. On the other side, we are live with an Australian Idol finalist from right here in Central Queensland.